And we're live. Hello, Battle Fanatics. I am Paul Ash. I'm here with the lovely and talented Erica Taddeo. And with us on the Battle Report today, we have Scott Andrew Carter, and we have Sean Griffin, which is, I'm like,
hey there.
This is down there. Oh, man, I can't dance. This is the Battle Report, which is basically a panel show where we talk about the last Friday's BattleCOM, the upcoming Friday's BattleCOM, and geek news and fun. People may recognize Erica as the stage manager. I don't know why I'm doing all the talking, but please feel free to cut in at any time. Erica is the stage manager of BattleCOM and also a very fierce BattleCOM contestant as well. And Scott Andrew Carter is making his return. Is this your first time back since episode like 3 or something?
2, I think.
2. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why it's taken so long to get Scott Andrew Carter back on there. He is a monster. Oh, you injured your foot.
Yeah. And I'm a busy man. I've got a lot of laying down and cuddling my cat to do.
And it's that wit that you'll get to see this coming Friday as he returns. And it's a noble. Oh, we've just won the internet. There we are. So if anyone is tuning in, and I can see some people are, just say hi down in the comments. And I want to say Sean Griffin wearing a wonderful beard and BattleCOM t-shirt, sort of dressing like Erica.
Yes.
He is a great fan of the show. And also, he's a scientist at NASA, so we might ask him some questions about comets and, other stuff that he's allowed to talk about.
Well, here's hoping I don't get myself fired somehow.
Please no.
Please don't. Well, I know, Erica, you were saying that you wanted to get Sean back in Canada.
But not like that.
Not like
I mean, ideally, we would want to get Sean back in Canada, but not because he's been disgraced by NASA.
And Megan Beaulieu?
Oh, hi, Megan.
Is just here to say hi to Sean Griffin. And Tim Rowcliffe, who did this last week. He's watching as well, saying hi. Hi, Tim.
Hey there.
Hi, viewers.
Hey, Tim.
There we are. Scott has not. I don't think Scott has really truly met Tim Rowcliffe yet, but
Nope.
you will get to know him. He is a comment. He is a commenter during the live BattleCOMs, and quite an interesting fellow. He was good to have on last week. Sean, you've got a lot to live up to. You're being judged. And Emily Slater is there as well. Hello, Emily. Welcome.
Hi, Emily. It's just cool.
All right. I said normally we were going to start by talking off. We're going to talk off. Get the talk off out of here.
What does that mean?
Is that like a Nova Scotia thing?
No, that's just not enough sleep thing. And apparently I'm still having audio issues out there. Dang it. Did you guys hear it yet? I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm hearing it now.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's still kind of coming and going like it was during our last episode. So thank you to everyone who kind of stuck through it and still paid attention to Paul, even when he sounded auto-tuned and robotic. You know how it is.
Yeah, I did manage to get that duo done with sticks. So 3, 2, 1. No, still not funny. All right.
It's a reference. It's just not a current one.
It's current for my life. I'm an old guy. I did the workshop last night. Scott Porteous's workshop. And Montreal comedian Victoria Blair was actually the moderator. So it was a lot of fun to be in the other seat during that. But there was some young punk from Chicago who continually just called me old. That was his anytime I said anything is that's just old. No
comment.
All right. So I guess we'll start off. We'll mention the show that happened last Friday. That was I think we might want to call that the technical issue show. It was it had a how can I say it? It was a little rougher than usual. So that's the logo from last last Friday show. I did not watch it. Some of you people that have been commenting, I know that you've watched it, so thank you very much because I saw you voting. But I have not been able to rewatch too much of it just because of how badly it sounded, and it drove me a little bit nuts. So thank you for all of your patience. But we had a great show. We lost AJ though at one point.
Yeah, it was not a great show for like technical issues. Poor AJ, I think his phone overheated or something.
Wait, did he die?
No, AJ is still alive as a person. I'm not sure how his phone is doing. As far as I know, AJ and his pets are doing fine.
I think he's back on a flip phone though. So
so he's AJ not so young.
Yeah. Yeah. You can still get flip phones fairly cheaply. So there might be a few
burners now.
Wasn't there a BattleCOM where a battler was giving their like a YouTube BattleCOM where a battler was giving their argument and their phone like straight up just fell off its mount?
Yes, that happened to Reese. I think we have a GIF of it somewhere on Twitch.
Yeah, that is available for rewatch on Twitch. So Tim Rowcliffe is watching on Twitch right now. So people can be watching us on Twitter or on YouTube. We have it going to the BattleCOM page. We also have it going to the Paul Ash comedy page right now. So just a chance for a lot more people to be watching the show. But despite the fact that AJ did get dropped out and I had to jump in, you had to jump in, Erica, with no preparation, with AJ's choices. It still ended up being a good show. We had two people doing BattleCOM. Well, actually, sorry, one person doing BattleCOM for the first time. That was Cliff Knight, fantastic comic based out of Toronto.
Yeah, how is Cliff?
Cliff is good. He was very good at it. He adopted to it fairly quickly. And we had Scotty Mars from Halifax. He had done BattleCOM in Ottawa as part of the Ottawa Comic-Con like years ago. And he's an old friend of mine from way back. And he's a radio guy. Did he have a good voice, Erica?
He had a great voice. Also, I was gonna, you know that I'm too polite to cut you off, but you were like, he's an old friend of mine, and I wanted to say emphasis on old. I wouldn't say that to his face, though. He's not here, so it's okay.
Oh, I thought you were calling me old. You know, Scotty was a kid when I was hanging around with him, so it's not that way. Not that way. No. Paul, why are you? No. What is this? Some kind of like a Batman and Robin thing? Call back to Friday's episode where Paul went on this whole rant about Batman, and we only understood part of it, but I understand what was implied about Batman and Robin.
I'm sure it was a great rant.
It was. It was. So, the parts of it that we heard were very good. The rest, Paul, I'm sure you did great. I'm sure you thought that it was good. So
I believe I scored a point on that one. So considering that I was up against the monster that was Cliff Knight at the point. So yeah, Cliff Knight actually he did a sweep all 3 battle rounds. Do you remember what the battlefields were, Erica, or do you guys have any comments from watching? Sean, you were watching?
So I was watching, but one thing about me when I watch BattleCOM or like listen to any podcast is that the second that it's over, it is just completely wiped from my memory. So I remember that one of the battlefields was the best MCU character.
Yes.
And that's like the whole sum total knowledge of what I remember from last week.
That was Battlefield number 2.
That was the second battlefield. First battlefield was what is the worst lesson that you can derive from a popular children's story? Not sure if that was the exact wording, but it was basically that, right?
So I came in late during last week's BattleCOM, so I didn't actually get to hear what the battlefield was. So I just heard what seemed like a bunch of non sequiturs. They were funny. But
well, that's what we aim for. We do now have that little countdown timer, which gives people a chance to log in before we jump into things. So hopefully people kept missing the beginning. It will not be as problematic going forward. yeah, it was what is the worst moral that could be derived from a children's childhood story? It's about deprivation. That's a lot of children's stories are about, not enough food to eat. Let's kill grandma. And
Oh, I remember a lot about soup. There was a lot of discussion about soup.
AC
Yes.
had a lot of feelings about soup in this episode. A lot.
Well, it was the tale of Soupy Caspar, and Tim Rowcliffe said he never realized there's so many soup haters out there. So then we devolved into about whether or not V8 was a soup. It was it was a long and interesting type show. So it was quite. I think Cliff definitely. No one made it easy on him, but he managed to win all 3 rounds. So it was a good battle overall. AC, like, he really dug deep to bring up the tales of Soupy Casper, which for a guy who's so proudly Italian to end up going with like a German folk tale as the childhood story. Yep. If you don't eat your soup, you eat nothing and die. And then we bury you with soup. That was, I think that's a summation of the story. So
It's a good life lesson.
I'm honestly surprised that there aren't more Italian families who tell that story. Like, eat this or you'll die. Probably because
I
I'll
will
kill
call you German.
Like,
So Scott, what have you been doing recently?
Well, I sit at home a lot. That's about
you hurt
it.
your ankle.
Yeah, I hurt my ankle. I actually just finished doing a boot camp for web development. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, is just programming stuff now. It's
All right.
real exciting. Yeah, I didn't have a joke answer for that. Just a straight up, I program most of my days right now.
I've noticed how much
practical.
you're
I like it.
blinking.
Pardon?
He said it's practical.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's super practical for someone without a job.
I think you're blinking in binary as well, which is kind of, I don't know if it's a subliminal message that's coming through.
Yes, it's a help me message. Yes.
Sean, you're very famous for being the NASA scientist who watches BattleCOM.
Apparently.
What exactly do you take? What's your takeaway? You build probes, or you monitor probes, or?
So I work on what we call future missions, which are missions that we're going to launch in the future. But basically, I do a lot of like R&D development for like not the next telescope, not the one after that, but like the one that's way down the line, where we kind of have an idea of the technology that we want to use, but somebody needs to like really flesh it out. Because a lot of these big missions, $1 billion flights, you can't just take that money and spend it. You got to like actually justify it to the taxpayer, apparently.
Apparently. I love how you said apparently. So future missions, that sounds it sounds very cool, because you're planning about stuff using technology that doesn't truly exist yet, but you have the chance to develop. Is that accurate?
Yeah, basically we have a lot of, there are a lot of things where we're like, well, this technology is like, it's almost there. We've almost like figured it out, but we don't know how to use it in this application, or we don't know how to apply it to do, to this goal. So it's a lot of like basically throwing science at the wall and seeing what sticks. Because a lot of the time you like take something and plug it in together and it like doesn't work. And like, that's research, that's allowed. And you just have to hope that like every once in a while you get something right, or that you don't plug it in backwards. Both of which things I am like guilty of doing.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Sean, let me just quickly ask you, does NASA need any front-end web developers?
Are you a US citizen?
I mean, not technically, but I could be illegal.
So like, it might not be worth it if you're not a US citizen, but the short answer is yes. I mean, front-end web, NASA has websites.
Do I get access to state secrets?
I can neither confirm nor deny access to state secrets.
Are they looking for people with stage managing skills and/or cat babysitters?
Our group actually has a lot of cats, and we actually do a lot of traveling. So the cat babysitter angle might be the right one.
You know what? I am gonna send my CV to NASA right now. I'm gonna do it. I'm an excellent cat babysitter. If anyone's looking for one, I don't have a car, so I can't really get to you right now. But if you want to bring your cat to my house, then we got to do it.
I don't think we could get across the border. That's one of the scary things about right now.
Oh, I was talking about locally, but don't worry. I can move to NASA headquarters and just take care of all the cats. I can like run like a cat daycare if you guys prefer. With I don't know, like tunnels.
She's
Cats
just
like tunnels, right?
Yeah.
Sarah Lelazar is watching, saying hi.
She
and
gets it.
kitty cats. Yeah, I'm just picturing that Erica is probably going to use that time to try to find Chewy. So it's all.
I mean, if any, oh yeah, no, cats in space. Actually, I don't think cats would like space very much. Because they're constantly like, if there's a door somewhere, a cat will be meowing at it, wanting to be let out, and you can't do that in space.
It's hard to land on your feet when you don't know which way is down. So
Yeah.
Weirdly, I did just watch a short video of cats in zero gravity that they were testing. It looked like from the 70s or so. It
Oh, no.
was adorable. The cats did not know what to do when they're floating.
Aw, poor
I think
cat.
another word for that is we're panicking.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
I'm very heavily invested in this, but I have a lot of concern for these cats from 40 years ago.
Oh, they're fine. All the monkeys and dogs made it back, right?
Sean, you've just been accused of not liking cats.
I mean, it's not that I don't like them. It's that I don't like them.
You're a doggo person, though.
They're the worst. Literally
NASA
the
noticed?
worst.
And NASA hires this kind of trash.
Like,
I'm
Well, they
I'm
didn't
sorry.
ask any questions, so
random note: amazing bear's beautiful hair. Oh, I think
she means
that's
beards.
amazing beards.
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 There we go.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
go. Beards. I thought it was. I thought she was referring to the two people on the bottom of the screen as bears. So
It wouldn't be the first time.
you've met Sarah before. All right. There is. What's the most exciting thing that you've actually worked on while at NASA? I know.
So
that you-
right now, I'm working. So I don't just work on future missions. That's just a large part of it. I'm working on a CubeSat. So a shoebox size, like literally this big sized CubeSat called Burst Cube, which we're going to launch in 2021 to look for these things called gamma ray bursts, which are these huge flashes of gamma rays in the sky that, for the brief time that they're shining, outshine the entire universe. So the brightest thing in the universe for, a couple seconds at a time. And Burst Cube is really neat because it's, something that I'm actually getting to build with my bare hands. I can put my fingerprints all over it and, definitely not sign the inside of some of the crystal housings if any of my supervisors are watching.
Question about gamma ray bursts. Say I happen to be in space when one was occurring and I was near it, would I get superpowers?
I mean, you might get super cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, superpowers. I mean, like gamma radiation, Bruce Banner, kind of the same thing. You'd probably be vaporized. That's not a horrible way to go, blown up by an exploding star.
You know what? That's one of the best ways to go, I gotta say. Out of all the
Hopefully very
options
quick.
that I know that exist, sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and Benjamin wants clarification that Jeremy didn't ask you if you like cats during your interview.
So Jeremy's my boss, and the joke's on him. I didn't have an interview. I just snuck in, and they let me stay.
That checks out.
Cool. If anyone has any other NASA related questions, you can just drop them in the chat. We're gonna go. Here it is. Scott is extending his beard now into a second object as it grows down.
Sean, can I ask you the obvious?
It depends what the obvious is.
Have you seen any aliens on the job? Tell me about aliens.
So I don't know for sure whether or not there's a Stargate at NASA Goddard, but there's definitely a Stargate at NASA Goddard.
So another question here: is the current virus the Andromeda strain in the world?
Oh, that's a good reference. I mean, I'm not that kind of doctor, but based on zero knowledge, I would have to say yes.
Good, good.
I mean, that'd be okay, right? Like, I unless I misread, and can I spoil the ending of the Andromeda Strain, which is a decades-old book? I feel like when I read it, I was disappointed by the ending because, like, all of this like suspense builds up, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then they're just like, oh, the virus dissipated into the air, and it's fine, like we're good.
Yeah.
So like it just kind of disappeared overnight, and honestly, that'd be pretty dope. Like, if that wants to happen right now, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't mind being able to like leave my tiny apartment. So yeah, that can go ahead and evaporate into the air. That'd be pretty great.
Good. Can we send it
I
into
believe
space?
that's your dad.
Actually, not yet.
Yeah, so John Griffin, yeah, that's my dad.
Hi, Sean's dad.
He's reminding you that you're not allowed to talk about the aliens. Wasn't there like a UFO sighting like 2 months ago and no one even talked about it?
I don't know. I guess because nobody actually talked about it.
True.
I liked how you just dropped in like some of your workplace lingo. Like you called it a CubeSat, as in like it's a cube satellite, like a shoebox size satellite. You just called it sat. Just make it a verb, past tense. What? No.
Well, NASA really likes its acronyms. We've got CNDH and SATs and WOAs and
PFU.
Yeah, FUBAR.
NASA's
another good one.
That's
I wasn't sure if you'd heard that one, so
how was the satellite footage, or did you get to see any good footage of like the comet that just recently went by, or you guys have viewing parties at work?
So we often do have viewing parties for like different things. So right now, due to the COVID-19 situation, we haven't been able to do anything, but we, whenever there's a big mission launch or something like that, we'll get together in a couple of the conference rooms and put it up on the big screens and look at things. For the comet viewings, a lot of us tried to like go outside and see it, but I live in the middle of downtown Washington DC, so there's not a lot of horizon to look at, and the comet was pretty low for us, so I didn't have much luck. But I have some colleagues out at another NASA center in Huntsville, Alabama, who had like beautiful images, and they were able to just go up to the roof of their physics department and set down a little tiny telescope and take these beautiful, beautiful photos.
Sweet.
And so I'm really disappointed that I didn't get to see it. I was, hanging out my window a couple times from my third floor apartment, between cloud cover and light pollution, just no joy.
This is a reference to Lenny Bruce, but I have to ask this now, since you have coworkers who work in Alabama. Do you know any NASA scientists who have like a Southern accent?
But yes, I don't know who Lenny Bruce is, so like I'm
Lenny Bruce
I'm cautiously answering this question.
Yeah, you don't need to know who he is.
Yeah, he was a comedian who actually took to the U.S. Supreme Court the ability to say, to be allowed to say fuck on stage without being charged with being an obscenity, doing an obscene show. So he took it all the way up there. But one of the questions that one of the things he mused over was the fact is like how difficult it would be to be a Southerner and a scientist. Like if Albert Einstein had a Southern accent, I got this theory about relativity. Yeah, I know you're fucking your cousin. It's whether or not, is there any, like you have to kind of fight a little bit of yourself to take them a little bit serious, or
usually it's pretty good. The thing that I have a hard time taking serious sometimes are just some of the ideas that the engineers come up with, because we're scientists, we're nervous about breaking our instruments or damaging things as they're launched and flown, and then you have an engineer who's like, yeah, we're going to strap that to a rocket and that rocket might explode, so you got to build it robustly, and that's literally the opposite of a lot of science detectors. So if you look at how they land any of the Mars rovers, you either like surround the thing in airbags and hope that it doesn't explode, or lower it from a sky crane. And I just would wish that I was a fly in the wall, like when they came up with these ideas, because the engineers are pretty crazy. And all those engineers come out of Alabama, actually. That's where they build all the rockets. Or at least that's where they did.
Emily just wanted to remind you that you watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Lenny Bruce, the historical character, is actually represented in that show.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
The more you know.
Canadian actor too, so trivia.
And the actor who plays him in that does a fantastic job, way better than Dustin Hoffman did in the biography. So, that's
so for anyone
cool.
just tuning in, Paul is still having mic issues from time to time. Also, is trying to start beef with Dustin Hoffman. Okay, now you're up to date.
Come on, I think I could take him. Like, he's twice his weight, and he's older.
Yeah, he'd probably show you his penis as well.
Like that has ever stopped me. Traditional Greek wrestling. What
did that even mean?
The original Olympics.
Yeah, you do it dongs out.
Dongs out. That's all right. Scott is the pro nudity person on this panel that we have. And he's the one wearing the long sleeve shirt in summer.
I'm doing this Greek too.
And I'm not standing up so you can question about whether or not I'm wearing pants.
It's COVID times. There are no rules.
There are no rules. All right. Benjamin believes in me. So $5 on me to take out Dustin Hoffman. I can kick it to the Rain Man. That's all. Then again, wasn't he also the Marathon Man?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really do a whole lot of badass things in Marathon Man, though. He just kind of got his teeth ripped out.
Yeah, but he took a lot of crap at that time.
Yes.
And Benjamin is reminding me that I love the fact that Benjamin's reminding me that Dustin Hoffman's a small fellow. Why he has a picture of himself on what is that, Einstein's lap?
I think it is Einstein's lap.
Yeah, it's either Einstein or Mark Twain. I'm going for Einstein, though. It's something I just kind of learned. Einstein was born 2 months premature.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good trivia question.
Yeah, that's I had to. When I was on the workshop, the topic, the word I was given to write jokes about was premature, and I just didn't want to make it about premature ejaculation. So I looked up anything to do with premature that wasn't, just so I could do that. And Einstein came up.
You just did preemie jokes then. Everyone loves a good preemie joke.
That sounds fine.
And premature celebrations as well. And Benjamin Zitzer, he asked Einstein for a pony and a grand unified theory. Which one did you get? And question for Sean: what's the best depiction of NASA in a movie or film? That's
a really good one, because they're all just awful.
You mean Space Force isn't like accurate?
I mean, I have actually yet to see Space Force. It's like one of my shames. I've just been so busy rewatching like other things that I've seen a million times before. I don't know why I haven't seen Space Force.
You're not missing much.
Apollo 13 did a really good job of like kind of what it's like. But like the next step down from Apollo 13 is like still not great. And that would probably be The Martian. The Martian does like a really good job with a lot of things. And then like some of the other things are just like, no, all you had to do was have like one scientist on the phone for like 12 minutes to tell you that everything that you're saying is wrong. And I don't mind the science being bad. That's fine. It's a movie. You're allowed to like invoke the Tooth Fairy once to get your plot across. But I was watching like Thor the other day, and Jane Foster, astrophysicist in Thor, like does not talk like a human as far as I can tell.
But she's got to be Lady Thor. There is.
Well,
okay. What about Hidden Figures?
With her
Hidden Figures is good. I don't know so much about the early Mercury days because that's 60, 70 years ago. But the focus in in Hidden Figures, about accuracy and making sure that everybody got home, and this huge effort behind we've all got to band together to make sure that this happens, I think was pretty good. I think Hidden Figures was an excellent film. I think it was an excellent film that happened to take place at NASA, not a NASA movie.
Okay.
Have you ever had to use a slide rule?
No, but I really want to learn how to use one.
My oldest brother, actually going through school, they had to use slide rules. So
I think I've seen one in real life once.
I think I might still have one. There is. All right. What have you been watching, Sean? Was for films, etc. Like what since you've been locked in your apartment, other than BattleCOM, which I know you make sure you schedule your life around.
I make sure I ring that bell.
Yeah, you ring that bell. Anyone that's watching, make sure you click the like button, ring the bell, so you can be notified when we're going live.
Yeah. So I recently started watching this show that I think is going really interesting places. I haven't, I heard some people talking about it in the past. It's called Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
I'm exactly 6 episodes in, so no spoilers. But I think this Jon Snow character is going to be really interesting. And I really hope that all those actors have long careers on that show because it's just spot on.
I mean, if anything, I feel like someone's going to tell the Jon Snow character that he's real smart and knows a lot of things. So yeah, I think we're good. Also, apologies to anyone else who hasn't watched Game of Thrones yet that had it spoiled by me, who also hasn't watched Game of Thrones a few weeks back on a previous episode of BattleCOM.
And Melissa's saying the best space fiction or nonfiction on Netflix or Prime. Yeah. So it's Melissa that's asking. Melissa,
Melissa is my little sister, and I actually think that's a picture of the two of us. No, it's her boyfriend. Somebody completely different.
It's a bearded people.
Yeah. Best science fiction on Netflix. If you want real good science fiction, I mean, I'm just a classic Stargate SG-1 fan. Military sci-fi is pretty solid. It's aged pretty well. Unlike a lot of other shows.
The first season, it was a little bit Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
There was a lot more alien races. Trust me, I'm a huge fan.
But once they got into the second season and they had taught everybody how to speak English, I think it really smoothed itself out.
Yeah. Oh, Melissa's just pointing out that is her boyfriend. Yeah, they're actually rebooting it. They're going to be doing a new Stargate movie with a possible series to come after.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm cautiously optimistic. I like Stargate, but I don't know. They got big shoes to fill.
They definitely do. I mean, the fact they got MacGyver on it was that was kind of one of the things that made it work. I mean, Richard Dean Anderson is such a likable actor, and
absolutely
to have him there as Jack O'Neill, he definitely didn't follow Kurt Russell, whereas the guy playing Daniel Jackson for the first season was very much doing a James Spader
absolutely.
But one of the funnest behind the scenes story from that one is the fact that whenever they handled Jack O'Neill script that had saying technical stuff, he just wouldn't bother learning it. And so they stopped writing those lines for him, and he would be just going, yeah, so it's going to do some really bad stuff, and then they'd have Samantha Carter's character, the Samantha Carter character, explain the science behind stuff. He says, there's 2 doctors on this, let them use the technical language. I'm just here to yell.
That's great.
And scowl. I
don't know if anybody else has also seen The Expanse.
Yeah,
I keep meaning to watch it.
Same here. I
How
keep
do you feel?
sleeping through the first episode.
Oh, it is.
It took me 3 or 4 tries to get past like the first 2 episodes of The Expanse, and then I did, and then I read the 8 books that it's based on like immediately afterwards. It was like a real commitment, but like I was so happy that I did it.
There is another season coming out. The first 3 seasons are just a perfect arc on their own. They don't need anything afterwards. And I think, sorry, they've done a fourth season now, haven't they?
Yep. Yeah. Season 5 starts soon.
Yeah. And I felt it was kind of unnecessary, or they could have just taken just different characters in the same universe. But yeah, the science seems pretty. I mean, there's the MacGuffins in there that allow them to do certain things. But it seems to be, physics seems to work in that show.
It seems like a real like living universe where like stuff matters, where if you accelerate too hard, you're going to get slammed up, you're going to get slammed around. And if you grow up in zero gravity, your bones are going to be all weird. Like they do a really, really good job of making it like more believable.
And still,
this show is
and still entertaining. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
This show is the show that Lord Jeff Bezos decreed would never be off the air, right?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. I think it was on, was it Sci-Fi beforehand and was getting canceled, and then Amazon was like, have all of the money. We have more to spare.
All right.
So something in the geek news that I just read today, I think it might be about 2 days old, is that The Boys, which is returning in, I think, September. I should have probably made notes. Is going to actually be weekly. They're not doing a complete season dump at once, so they're going to be sort of changing the method for the streaming services just to match it. And they're going to have Aisha Taylor is going to be doing an after show after each episode, so people can discuss what's happened.
I haven't seen The Boys yet. I there's been a lot of like ads on Prime, and I watch a lot of Prime now because what else do you do? But what's the like 20-second like premise?
It's basically superheroes exist, but they're kind of fake. And there's a group of people that are trying to, because they're not working really for the government, they're working for a single corporation. So there's a group of people who are shadowy, who are just trying to make sure that they have the information to be able to take them down if they have to take them down. And for some of them, it's a bit more personal. So it's based on a comic book. They did some nice nods to the comic book, as in the main character, Wee Huey, in the comic book was actually based off of Simon Pegg. And so now that it's a TV series, they had Simon Pegg play Wee Huey's father.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Nice.
It's also fairly graphic. There's been a lot of like, what do you do with superheroes going bad, or who polices superheroes type comic books. The Boys
who watches
did
the Watchmen
really well.
Exactly.
Who watches the Watchmen? But at least the Watchmen were sort of watching themselves. Like there's basically nothing moral or good about any of the superheroes in The Boys. And the same, it's very much like Martial Law, if anyone remembers that old comic book. And Tim Radcliffe is saying Richard Dean Anderson is more likable than Scott Bakula. He definitely is. Sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's no contest.
Yeah. Richard Dean Anderson, I've had the pleasure to meet the man, and he is a super, super nice person. Everybody who was involved in that show that I've had the chance to meet. Yeah, very cool.
That gave me like a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Aww.
It's like good.
It's maybe you should crack your window if you're getting warm, fuzzy inside your lungs. There is.
I think, isn't that the opposite of what I'm supposed to do right now?
True. Put a HEPA filter in your window. But yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of excited for The Boys. Erica, is there anything that you're excited with? I know that you've been doing this show now for a couple of weeks, so it's coming up with new things to be talking about while she's an essential worker. So Erica's very necessary.
That makes me sound like I'm way more important than I am, but I mean, my work is important, and not going to go too much into it, but I do help local businesses, and obviously we don't want any of our local businesses to go out of business, to go bankrupt. I feel like I'm saying business a lot. So I'm very happy to, help out just a few local merchants and small business owners try and stay afloat during these times. One thing that I actually just found out, I was going to tell you guys about, there was a rumor that came out a couple hours ago that Black Widow was going to be released on Disney Plus, and apparently I just found out that that rumor was based on the fact that Disney has announced that the live-action adaptation of Mulan is going to be coming out on September 4th, exclusively on Disney Plus for an additional charge.
Oh.
So you have to have Disney Plus, and then you pay an extra $30, and you get to watch Mulan, which is a lot of money, but at least like it has a release date now. So
I mean, for a single ticket.
Yeah, I don't know if that means you get to watch it as many times as you want, or if it's just a rental. I haven't seen all the details on that yet, but it is pretty exciting that we're finally sort of going to get to see it. Otherwise, they were probably just going to have to keep pushing it back, because when can you really do a global release of a movie considering everything that's going on?
Well,
Like,
aren't they doing like a global release of Tenet?
They are, but
Christopher
they're
Nolan one?
staggering it.
Yeah, I know, but like
Well,
they're doing it like 2 weeks later in America from the rest of the world or something like that.
yeah, and I mean, we'll see kind of how that goes. And my guess is that Disney just doesn't want the bad press in case anything happens. Like, they already got enough heat for opening up Disney World, which, I mean, yes, was a weird idea, but Universal Studios was already open on the day that Disney World opened and seemingly didn't get as much of the bad press. So
Disney should know better, though.
I know.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so this is probably a PR move and like a good money-making move. So, they're most worried, I'm guessing, about their two biggest audiences, which would be the US and China. So I think this just, like, it makes sense. It's a lot of money, but it's an interesting sort of turn of events. I would never have thought of this, but it kind of makes perfect sense if you think about it.
Well, we have mentioned before that they are saving some big blockbuster films for when the vaccine is released to encourage people to go back to theaters, because we have learned to be entertained at home now. So they want to be able to encourage people to go outside. So I don't know if it's a good sign that they're doing this. But then again, Disney, they have so much of the stuff I love, but they also own Fox, including Fox News.
Oh,
I thought it was.
They don't.
They
actually
don't?
don't own Fox. No, they bought
Okay.
every part of Fox that wasn't the news subsidiary, which is still owned by Roger Murdoch.
Huh.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I felt it was very weird that Disney pulled its advertising from some Fox shows. I'm going, you could pull much more than that. But okay, so they don't have Fox. All right. Thank you, Scott, for making me more hateful of the mouse.
Yeah, I keep up on the business trends. Don't worry.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate it.
Thank
That's our
you.
business correspondent, Scott Andrew Carter. Thanks.
Got Andrew Carter. What are you been watching other than coding, programming, and classes?
Well, I just finished watching the I'll Be Gone in the Dark, the HBO docu-series about Michelle McNamara's book about finding the Golden State Killer. That was really good. I mean, if you're a fan of Patton Oswalt, like I am, he has an integral part in that, and because it was his ex-wife who passed away, and it's an incredible, well done docu-series. I really liked it. I mean, it's HBO. HBO does everything well.
Yeah, they do.
My recommendation for this week, because I've still been watching Umbrella Academy, because I said I would catch up. So just same as last week. Hey guys, have you seen Umbrella Academy? Yes, you have, because I'm the only person who didn't watch all of season 1. But I did mention during last.
Sean. Sean hasn't either. Sean will have to catch up.
Sean, thank you for being a friend.
They're on the same shirt team.
We knew.
This team hasn't seen the Umbrella Academy.
We're just totally in sync. We are both equally good at science. We just have a lot of things in common. What can I say? Space. is also a thing that I know a lot about.
I have no evidence to the contrary. Why wouldn't I believe you?
No, it's true. I definitely did not learn everything I know about space theories from the titles of albums by Muse. We're good. I had mentioned in Friday's BattleCOM how I thought I would get more votes just for saying that, the comics were better about Captain Marvel, which it is true. So if anyone's looking for something new to read, you should pick up Kelly Sue DeConnick. She has 2 runs of her Captain Marvel reboot. She originated Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. This was one of 2, so there are 2 volume 1s and 2 volume 2s. This is the first volume 1 and 2. I like the art in the second run more than the first run, but both are pretty great stories, totally worth reading. I love the character. Also, one thing I should have mentioned on Friday, she punches a dinosaur. So I don't know, tell me that's not the best Marvel character. She punches a dinosaur. You're welcome.
And if anyone out there, because of my recommendation from last week, has started watching or rewatching the Venture Brothers, please put a comment in the box, because go Team Venture. If I was to a recommendation that I'm going to have right now, which is it's kind of a personal recommendation. One of my favorite films, easily in my top 3 films of all time. Not so much a sci-fi or fantasy or superhero film, is called The Commitments, but it is actually that film has, I think, challenged me as a human being to try to be better when it comes to not just performance, but how I treat other performers. So I definitely recommend watching the movie The Commitments, but the director, Alan Parker, has died just the other week, a couple days ago. I think it was Friday. So he's got an amazing body of work. Check out any of the things. Midnight Express is based on a true story. Yeah. Sorry, Scott, I didn't quite hear you.
Oh, it's a great movie, Midnight Express, and The Commitments.
Yeah.
Great music in The Commitments.
I should be writing these down.
Yeah, I just rewatch this later, but yeah, write them down. Actually he's done, like, he did Evita as well. He did what was it, Bugsy Malone, which is probably a bit creepy to watch, but I saw it as a kid. It's Jodie Foster plays a gangster's mall, and Scott Baio plays the gangster, plays Bugsy Malone, and it's all children musical cast 1930s gangsters. It's kind of weird seeing these you dirty rat, and they have their Tommy guns fire egg creams, so they're being hit in the face with pies, but they're taking it so seriously. But yeah, that's Alan Parker. It's
not even going to bring up his greatest film, Fame.
Yeah, well, Fame. Well, Mississippi Burning. Actually, if you want to,
Mississippi Burning, great.
Something that, like, kind of along the Black Lives Matter movement, Mississippi Burning is definitely fantastic. And then Angel Heart is probably the closest to something that has like a sci-fi feel if you want to watch it from him. He just does really well with ensemble casts. So I'm going to be rewatching the Commitments sometime this week. Definitely got to find time before the next show. But it's definitely a feel good kind of movie, and the music is amazing. He actually hired people for the musical talent, not for their acting. So the acting's a little spotty at places, but the band stayed together for 20 years after the film. Nice. Like, they played the Ottawa Jazz Fest in the last half decade. Or Blues Fest. So, hi, how's everyone doing? Why are we getting quiet? I just mentioned a guy died.
We were trying to let you finish a thought without interrupting you, but you get mad at us every time we're nice.
Everybody only talk at once.
I don't really have thoughts. I just have like streams, and they go out, so they need to be diverted on occasion. So, do you have any recommendations, Scott?
I mean, other than I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which I said, I just started watching Big Little Lies, and I've been enjoying that. That's very, very good show. It's weird to see Adam Scott in a very serious role. That's about it. I watch a lot of things, yet I smoke so much weed that I don't remember a lot of things. So these are the shows that I remember watching recently.
All right. If no one has anything else that they're looking forward to seeing or something coming up, or Sean, do you have any recommendations? You're spending a lot of time with Prime.
So I'm gonna play the millennial card and say I took up sourdough while being locked away in COVID, and part of that is because I've been watching a lot of the Great British Bake Off, which is just like a fantastic show. It's a competition, but it's British, so they're not screaming at each other and they help each other, and it's so wholesome, and it has made me eat a lot of bread.
It sounds like the perfect show.
Yeah, it sounds
And
great.
now you have something alive in your fridge. You're a dad now. Get a sourdough baby.
Was told this would be harder.
I don't think we can top sourdough babies. So
yeah. All right. Let's talk about what's coming up on a Friday. Friday, it's going to be season 1, episode 11, or Soy L. It's made of people. It was in green, so
I understood that reference.
Yay! We've got Monica Hamburg is going to be on the show. She is a fierce battler, very entertaining, and this week doesn't include also her confined show that she does. Normally it's 6:30 every second Friday, so not this Friday coming up, but the following Friday you can catch her at her show. This guy, Scott Andrew Carter.
That's
I
me.
know him.
Yeah, with the hair that's way up there.
That is a beautiful photo.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
I was so happy with the win that day.
It's great how it obscures at least a third of your face. Just puts it all in shadow. AJ Young has worked at his technical difficulties. He's going to be back for the show. Tim Mercliffe also wants to point out that Alan Parker also directed The Wall. He also directed the David Gale story starring Kevin Spacey, and I intentionally didn't mention that.
Yes, that was one of the very few movies that Roger Ebert gave 0 stars because it was a very glorifying depiction of a serial killer in his mind.
Yeah.
The
message that you get from the commitments is that is definitely a good feel-good movie. So again, AJ Young and first-time battler, but very prominent Canadian comic, Dylan Reimer is going to be joining us doing his very first BattleCOM. So I'm excited to see him tackle BattleCOM. Do you guys have any favorites? Anyone want to place some money right now? I'm not taking money. We're not gambling. We're not using our live streams to encourage people to gamble.
No, but you can send us money if you want.
Oh yes, supporting you can support the show.
Beautiful segue.
Yeah, no, it's almost like we planned that. Go Team Venture. All right, that's only Benjamin and I know that one. It's the upcoming show. Do you guys have any favorites or thoughts, or what's your thoughts on the competitors? Scott, how confident are you feeling going in? I've asked like 5 fucking questions and no one's answered any.
I'm gonna wipe the floor with everybody first of all, but we'll graciously lose to Dylan by the end of it, for sure.
All right.
So you're going to lose by wiping the floor. I don't know how that math checks out, but
are you kidding me? Who actually wants to wipe the floor? That's clearly a loser's job.
Ooh.
He is tidying the room for everybody. I think that's kind of important. And our battlefields, just to give you guys a little bit of a preview or pre-taste, is what's the worst movie to see at a drive-in theater?
I like it.
And there's a typo here. It actually says dive-in theater, which is a completely different thing. So it's a drive-in theater. I better make sure no one's responding with dive-in theater. what classic video game would make a cool TV show? And
I
the final
like it.
battlefield is what's the coolest helmet in sci-fi?
Oh,
Mhm.
I like that a lot.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. I feel like we have occasionally pulled some classic battles out for online BattleComs, but that one is all new, and I don't know why I haven't seen it. I'm super excited. I think it's gonna be good.
That was I believe Tim. Were you the one? Tim Rocliffe, were you the one who suggested that topic? It's Sean. When was the last time you suggested a topic, a battlefield?
I suggested a topic a couple weeks ago, and I think it was the. No, I don't actually remember what it was. It was something gritty remake, but it wasn't the one where one of the punchlines was the Despair Bears.
Okay. Oh, the gritty.
Sorry for
reboot
that
of,
totally useless explanation.
Yeah, the Despair Bears, I think, will live on in infamy, thanks to Jason Hattrick, who is now,
Yes.
for those who've been watching the program, safely back in Canada.
Hooray!
He has been writing for a new web series called Oh Canada, starring Darren Henwood, where they do deep dives into the news along the lines of the John Oliver Show. So take a look. The first episode is online. It's about Jagmeet Singh being ejected for calling another member of parliament a racist. And Peter J. Radomski is also a writer on that show.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely worth checking out. So do we have any last words or thoughts, or what do you all feel like saying or doing? Go Team Venture.
I'm still trying to figure out which was the topic that I suggested.
I feel like this week's battlers are going to be a really interesting mix, and I can't wait to see sort of how they approach and debate each other. I think it's going to be an interesting lineup. Matchup.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not. I only know Scott out of the battlers coming up on Friday. So
I thought you've seen Monica. Monica's done the online one a couple times now.
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
And AJ has done it probably 2 or 3 times on the online, and he's done the live one several times.
Yeah, I think I've been on like the last 4 or 5 of these. I've been on with AJ at some point.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, it's Friday night when I watched you guys. I've had a couple drinks.
And Tina Duncan is shouting out, "Yay, Canada!" Okay, I don't know. Tina doesn't sound Canadian because she's cheering Canada, which is.
I think she's cheering me.
Yeah.
It's my mom.
Oh, it's your mom.
Hi, Sean's
Hi,
mom.
Sean's mom. There is. So yeah. Well, we've got one person back, but Sean is currently happy sequestered in Washington D.C., waiting till he can get his fingerprints back onto and other genetic material. No, I'm not saying that. Onto other cube sets to throw out there. There's so many Griffins. The sky was once full with them. Or at least the flags. Scott always surprises me because he is he does such a good left turn when he does comedy, and when he tackles BattleCOM. So I'm really excited to see how he'll gel with AJ and Monica, and I'm really excited to see how Dylan will do because he's a very creative writer when it comes to comedy. So you've seen him. Yeah, you're living in the same city as he is now, Scott. What's your thoughts on Dylan?
He's a hilarious dude. He's a very funny, good joke writer. He's going to be very tough to beat. Yet I will for sure wipe the floor after him.
And that, everyone, is why Scott Andrew Carter is so amazing. There was one news I wanted to. I don't think we mentioned this last time. There's a live action remake, which I just only recently found out of Cowboy Bebop.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the main actor blew out his knee in doing one of the fight scenes. So the anime actually has, like, they do Jeet Kune, they do the Bruce Lee created martial arts. The character, that's how the martial art he used in the anime, and so they actually had the actor doing that, and he managed to Well, he has knee surgery now.
Ouch.
Well, they better be keeping the Yoko Kanno score. It's the greatest thing in the world.
Definitely, if you get a chance to watch Cowboy Bebop, it is on some of the streaming services. Do that. Get primed. It is the Firefly of anime.
All right.
Cowboy-
I was a little hesitant at first, but you sold me by invoking the Firefly clause.
Yeah, well, it's cowboys in space get canceled too soon, and then an unsatisfying movie.
That checks out.
Hits
That's
the
like
boxes.
95% of the shows that I like to watch.
Oh no! Hopefully, we're in the 5%. We're not canceled too soon. This has been the Battle Report. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. We just crossed an hour. Please, let's not forget how fantastic Erica Taddeo is. We've got Scott Andrew Carter, and we've got Sean Griffin as our guest. Tune in Friday night, 8:30 p.m. I'm Paul Ash, and you guys are fantastic.
There.
Are we ending the show there? Or are you guys saying anything?
We'll
Thanks
see you
for
on
having-
Friday. Oh, sorry. Yes.
No, go ahead.
We'll see you on Friday, and thank you for teaching us about science, Sean.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It was fun.
What a Canadian way to end this.